to Magathea Builder Worlds. This is part 2 of the Necromunda Sump Containership Condos build. Yes, it is. It is. This is where we are so far. Let's lift it up a little bit. Look, look, sunken containership. Well, mostly sunken containership. It's coming on quite nicely. I'm very pleased with this. My latest whimsical Necromunda build. This is coming along quite nicely. I'm rather pleased with this. Pleased with the response it's kind of had. It doesn't fit very well, mind you. And I've got quite a lot to do. Made quite a lot of effort last week. Last time. Got quite a long way last time with this build. Probably not as far as I thought I was going to, but then I was hampered because I was waiting for some stuff to be delivered. And it took quite a lot. The cutting and up of the model and the moving it all around and the like was a little more complicated. Was a little more complicated than I thought it was going to be. But still, we're at a point now where ready for adding the details. Now, this is going to make up part of my Sump kind of settlement and board for Necromunda, come other sci-fi systems as well. Quite a few of you will be watching this because of my Necromunda builds, and they're shared on lots of Necromunda groups, that kind of thing. Got lots of people in the Necromunda world who like what I do, but also with this particular set of models I'm making, I'm trying my hardest to make sure that they are not specifically 40k. I do want to make some 40k scenery. If there's anybody out there who thinks I should make 40k scenery, give us a shout. If you think I should be making 40k scenery, what the hell do you think I should make? There's so much been made previously. What would you like to see me make in the 40k universe that isn't on Necromunda? Just as a thought. You know, but anyway, where was I? Oh yes, other sci-fi systems. Yeah, I don't want this set of scenery just to be usable for Necromunda. I understand that, of course, you could use any of your scenery for any tabletop game you like, you know. It's your game, so do it the way you want to do it. If you want to use your Warhammer 40k scenery for Star Wars Legion games, that's cool. If you want to use Star Wars specific scenery for Stargrave games, that's also cool. But the problem is to a nerd like me, it just doesn't sit well, you know. I like my Star Wars games to look kind of Star Warsy. There's a definite aesthetic that Lucasfilm, George Lucas and Star Wars has tried to attain and achieve over what 40 odd years of Star Wars being a thing, getting on for nearly 50 now I suppose, you know, it's grown and developed, and there are loads of places in the Star Wars universe that have definitely got their own aesthetic, and they don't look like Warhammer 40k. Warhammer 40k, of course, is grim and dark and has got skulls absolutely everywhere. And if you use a lot of the 40k specific scenery, the Adeptus, the Mechanicus stuff, there are skulls and bionic things, and you know, that's a definite grim dark aesthetic. And although you can use that, I prefer not to. I'd like my Star Wars games to look like Star Wars games. When I get around to making stuff to go with this fella, oh yeah, and there are more of those figures coming, you know. And when I'm using these kind of vehicles, I want my Judge Dredd games to look like Judge Dredd. They need to look different. That's the whole point for me, being a builder of worlds. I want to build different worlds, not play all my games in the same one. But I also understand that this hobby is really expensive at times, like any hobby, and time consuming. And I don't have the time to make copious amounts of different scenery all the time for every single game, and I don't have the space to store it. Storing this stuff is a bit of a bind. If you saw the first part of this series, this build, you would have caught a glimpse of my garage space and my workshop and that kind of thing, where I store all my terrain. And it's in crate after crate after crate, really useful crates, and I'm always running out of space and always having to think about whether I want to move stuff on, and then I move stuff on and sell it on, and then I regret it and I want to make it all again. And so it's quite good every now and then to make some scenery that's a bit more ubiquitous and you can use it across a number of different systems. And the cool thing about this build and the last build was that it's based on these Necromunda Ash Waste Hab Units. This is the Thatos pattern, the extended one, the big rectangular one, or this guy, the regular squarey kind of one. Now, what I like about these models, I've said it before, and in actually now in 3 videos, it's going to be the 4th one, is that what's cool about these, apart from the fact they're awesome plastic models, they really are really cool. The only thing that gets me about them is kind of like how flipping expensive they are. Go to your FLGS guys, go to Element Games, go to Wayland Games, go to Dark Thingy, go to, I don't know, look at Black Dragon, hi Gary, any of those, there's a good chance you'll be able to pick things like this up cheaper at an FLGS than you would directly from Workshop. They often get anything up to 20% discount on you know, so from that point of view, shop around. But apart from the price, which is the only downside to it, to be quite honest, I think these are absolutely brilliant models, and one of the reasons why they're brilliant models is that they are really great sci-fi models. They fit really well in kind of like the Necromunda universe. That's what they're made for in 40k universe, but what they have not got is loads of 40k iconography all over it. They make really good sci-fi hab units, which means that you could use them in any system and you could certainly get away with it. And this Sump build, because what I like about this is definitely my own part of Necromunda, is that it can look any way I like, and I've definitely used things that look very Necromunda-y, and I'm sure when I put these out with the more Necromunda-y looking pieces of scenery like the Enforcers Precinct and the shrine that I made for who are they, the Condos house, these will blend in really well. What do you mean you haven't seen the Enforcers Precinct or the Condos Shrine? They're on the playlist. They're oh, come on, Sump builds, man. They're great. They've been around for some time, so go and check them out. Anyway, yeah. But what I am hoping to do is build enough of these C ones to make them work for other sci-fi games. I particularly got in mind with this model, and that last one to some extent, the Sump Scum kind of like settlement, the episode of The Mandalorian where Mando and Baby Groot are busy eating, or Baby Groot's busy eating kind of like little frogman eggs, and they go to the planet where it's all water, marine planet, and he drops the Razor Crest in the water accidentally and then gets beaten up by a bunch of Quarren, and he meets Bo-Katan and her Mandalorians. I've got that kind of thing in mind. Not to necessarily play that scenario, but I like that kind of like, that's dark Star Wars, that's kind of like rough and ready and out in the Outer Rim kind of thing, and it works quite well. With all of that in mind, with the desire to make this work for several systems, I need to get on with the build. To remind you, I flashed it out you a moment ago, but here it is again. This is where I got so far. This is the sunken or semi-sunken Containership, a really cool Playmobil toy that I picked up several years ago and sat around in the cack box in the garage for several years, and I've started to work on this. If you remember, I'd sliced it at an angle so it's kind of like leering out of the water. We've added platform in here, the roof on the bridge comes off so does that ladder now, and inside there's a cabin in here, which is one dwelling which needs a bit of tidying up and that kind of thing. The roof goes back on there. Thanks to several people pointing out this was from Micro Machines, this bit here. I'm definitely going to do something on the top here. Could have a lighthouse or just a viewing platform of some kind. The platforms, these things are way too easy to use, so I could easily, if I put that on the right thing, could sit on the top. That would be quite neat. That would give a kind of like a light landing platform for light vehicles and that kind of thing, which could be kind of cool. And then of course the thing is I need to build the habs onto it. I want to have several hab units and walkways and bits and pieces on this. Walkways I'm a bit stuck for because I haven't got many left over, and I didn't realise that they came in a separate box set to the buildings from Ash Waste. So you get a bunch in the Ash Waste box set, but then there's the walkways and kind of like and platform set that you can buy individually. And they, again, I mean, I've got to admit, these are quite expensive, but when you're paying a similar kind of price for a bunch of walkways, you're like, what? But I do like them, so I'm definitely going to use some somewhere. But I do want kind of walkways and different heights on this kind of thing. I've got 3 hab units. I bought 3 new hab units, 2 of the square ones. Woo! whoop, and one of the extended ones. And I've got other stuff, other bits of other things, other models I might be able to use. So I'm going to try and do that. One of my viewers last time wanted to see containers on this because it's a container ship. I'm trying to avoid using containers, especially because the 40k ones look great, and I've used them all over other models, and lots of people do, but they are kind of 40k, and they've got eagles and skulls and that kind of stuff on, so I'm going to avoid doing that for the time being. I could use containers from other people, you know, either 3D printed ones or MDF laser cut ones, but I'm going to avoid doing that as well. See if I can, what I can make with these Thanatos pattern HAB modules, and then some other stuff as well. So the first thing I suppose I need to do to get on with this whimsical build of mine is to think about actually making up some of these HAB units to a certain point, just so I can start fiddling around with placement on there. I want to see if they would actually, if there's any way of kind of putting two of them together one way or another. I want multiple heights. I'm going to use the odd platform. I've got a few spare ones of these, so I'm going to use the odd one of these around as well. I do want kind of like a bit of water line action. I always do that, you know. I'm going to wave my hand down here out of shot, and you can't see what the feck I'm talking about, but I do quite fancy some maybe a waterline quayside or whatever here, but I do also want to keep most of this water free, because the more water available in the game is important as well. So from that point of view, I'm probably not, I don't want to disappoint you people who watched the last one, but those of you who saw the big shark in the garage, I'm probably not going to make it and stick it permanently on this model, but I am very seriously thinking about going to find that shark, slicing it up and putting it on a kind of like a large base to be a threat swimming around in the Sump Sea. That's where we're at. What I need to do then is pull my finger out, get on with this, and to start off with, build what I've got. Don't need to go digging through the cat yet, I just need to build. So I need to unbox these models and wield the plastic glue. Excellent. Let the whimsy commence. You see what I try to do there, by the way? I don't know how long this introduction is, but I've kind of said the W word like 3 times throughout there, and that way then I'm trying to spread out the amount of the W word gets a use, just to stop you getting absolutely caned absolutely every time you watch one of my videos. For those of you who are brand new to Magathuria Builder Worlds, welcome, thank you very much. If this is the first one of my videos you're watching, where on earth have you been? I've been into this for a couple of years now, and I made quite a lot, but you know, go back and check out the other stuff. But if you're not sure what I mean by the W word or what the relevance is to it, this is the Magathuria Builder Worlds unofficial drinking game. Unofficial because you do not have to play if you don't want to. If you have reasons for wanting to look after your liver, that's absolutely fine. The irony is, of course, is the fact that I'm pretty much teetotal. Not because of any particular reason, but I can't be asked to drink. But those of you out there who like to imbibe, oh, by the way, alcohol and scalpels don't mix well, kids, but you know, you're adults, you can make that decision yourself. And those of you who like to imbibe, this is how the game works. Very simple and straightforward. This is the whimsical drinking game of Magathuria Builder Worlds. It's very simple. Find the beverage of your choice, preferably alcoholic. I'd avoid shots if I were you. I'd stick with beers or ciders, maybe a nice glass of port or something like that. But every time Tim in the Magathuria Builder Worlds headquarters mentions either the word whimsy or whimsical, which frankly doesn't happen very often in a science fiction build, it happens more in fantasy builds, but every time you hear the W word, you've got to take a drink. How large that drink is entirely up to you, but I think the count for this video is already 5, which is quite a few. I'll try and restrict it, you know, because otherwise in the space of the next 45 minutes or so you could get absolutely bladdered just watching me do this. So yeah, gonna have to be very careful. But in the meantime, I'm going to start making some models. I'm not going to bore you with the details of sticking plastic kits together. On the whole, there's not much there. I'll come back to you in a moment when I've stuck 2 or 3 of these things together and we can start doing the conversation about where they're going to go on the container ship. Keep watching. Alright, so I haven't stuck together any of the actual buildings yet. I'll do that in a moment. But what I have done so far is I've made up, along with the platform I already had got, here we go, I made up the bases to the wide HAB unit and 2 other HAB units, so I could kind of fiddle around. This is the bit where you just kind of, well, I don't know what other people, I can't say where I fiddle around with stuff, excuse me Mr. Dread, and just kind of figure some of this stuff out. So I've got, obviously I've already got this hab unit back here in the cabin. I quite like the idea of having one platform pretty much up against the roof of the cabin over here. Am I getting that? Yeah, we are. That could have uprights, poles and the like, so it kind of like comes out of this deck here, because I just like the idea of it just being bolted down to whatever's there. Then I quite fancy in having at this point this extended hab unit going across the width of the thing, the ship. Then there'll be a little walkway in between the two of those. They could actually link together maybe. So there's plenty of opportunity for ladders. So that would be like one there, two there. Then I could probably have a third one, even still like that. Although I quite fancy that might have to go down at a different height, just to give a variation in height. The difficult thing is you don't want to make it too impossible to get your hands into the model. This way I'll have stuff on this deck. See, this one, it's a convenient hole I made here. Might not be sitting very well now, because that's kind of like what I wanted, that there, and that kind of like to go there. Although I could have it, bring that all the way over here, and there'll be a longer platform there. I need a double base, obviously, for this double base model here. I could always go that way around with this model, but then that would have like a little string street effect kind of thing over that side, and then I could maybe have one. Oh man. It's a nice idea, but I don't know how higgledy-piggledy is. The other thing is the fact that I'll just kind of, I think at some point I'll have to commit and go for it with one hab unit or another. I think I'm really liking the idea of this one over here, so I think my best bet is to start by working on this one, coming up with a way of attaching it down here. It's going to be quite tall, so you'll be able to get hands and stuff in there. And of course, it can't fix permanently to the cabin over here, because the cabin obviously comes off, so that's going to be able to sit there independently. Fortunately, the staircase I put on last time I broke off, so isn't now on there, so from that point of view that kind of works all right. So having a hab unit up there, I've already cut off one set of these bars here to facilitate that, so I'm going to work on building that one up and having that standing up there first, I think. Yeah, that's where we're going to go first, and then I'm going to work out what we do from there. I could have the double hab unit. See these where I've cut them? That's no bloody good. I could have that lower, or it could go much higher. Could go much higher, I suppose. That would be kind of cool. I don't know how easy it is to make these much taller. Let's do this one and see where we're at. Yeah, okay. So we're going to go for all of the under suspension bit to boost that. I need bits of kit. I don't know what bits of kit. Oh right, okay. That's why we get so many bloody floors. Yeah, alright. Gonna need this bit here and then cut out the spools. Right, okay. Let's do that and have a look at it in a minute. Right, so I'm just going to take off the parts that make the bit that holds the hab unit up. I'm going to stick that on, see how much height that gives me. And then what's cool about this kit is you get a number of different options for adding underneath, which is kind of neat. So hopefully be able to find something that will work the right height. Let's just cut out these 4 bits. It's such a good kit, this. There's so many bits you don't need to use, and so many bits you can, and yeah, really neat. And like I said before, none of it got obtrusive skulls on it, which for once is terrific. 1, 2, work my way around it. Here we go.
July the 23rd today. It's bloody horrible outside. This time last year we were totally in the middle of a heat wave. All the grass was dead, we were sweating our cobs off. I was getting bothered about going off to do pirate gigs in sweating summertime. Bloody pleased I'm not an event. To my friends out there who have already started the summer season in the heritage world, yeah, I know, I've seen their posts on social media, and they're having a miserable time in the peeing down rain this weekend, because today is the first weekend of the school summer holidays. The holidays have started. I'm glad I'm stuck inside my workshop making a model. Oh. Just this little bit alone, it's way cool. It's like, you know, I mean, I could think of 100 uses for that on a model. I mean, really cool little bit of kind of like, yeah, I mean, granted, right now, what I'm going to do with it is stick it on underneath this, and it just becomes the thing that holds that up. But actually, I've got lots of spare ones of these because I didn't use any of them on my last model, and they make really neat kind of sci-fi things. Look out for those, they're kind of cool. Right, okay. Didn't know that's how they worked last time. Didn't look at the instructions or anything, so I'm going to stick that on there. Stick, stickity stick, and then this should give me an idea of how to go about doing the next bit. How's that work? Oh, it goes on there like that. Okay. That's a bloody ace, that is, isn't it? Because that then gives that a really kind of stable base, even if you just do that with it for nothing else. Yeah, that looks really cool. Okay, so I might cut out the others, do that with that as well, because that's a really good way of supporting that. So I'm going to make these two for that. Although I didn't for this one, I just stuck that directly on there. So you don't have to. It's neat. Great kit. We interrupt this model making for a very important update. It's not whilst I'm making models, it's I don't even know what day of the week it is. Happens like that around the summer, but it's summertime. But yes, this is a pup date. Pups out for a run at the paw patch where we like to go and have a run. So morning, Chewbacca. Oh, derp. Somebody else has drooled on your head. Here's little Lulu. There she is. Like she owns the place. And the mighty Ahsoka. Yes, gorgeous girl that she is. These are Alfrey doing the running around thing. Just realised it must be 2 years of pup dates, because Chewie was brand new when we started doing this. That makes him 26 months old now, also 2 years 2 months, which means Ahsoka must be 21 months old. That little Lulu, she must be about coming up 10 months now, I suppose. Yeah. There you go. She hasn't got to that bulking out stage yet. Still quite alive. Bless him. Hey you guys. Choo-choo. Nah. This is called Newfoundland Patrol. Searching for something, we don't know what. Luda's got her bally though. What's that, Lily? Wound up like a cold spring, ready to bark at the nearest person, motorbike, car, bus, anything pretty much. Yeah. That's enough about dogs, mind you. Let's get back to the build. Okay, so we're going to definitely have this platform, which is now got its supporting pylon stood up here like this. I'm going to stick that on there, hopefully. And what do I need? I need this flat roof here for it to lean against. Hold that in place. So pretty much leans up right up against the cabin roof, which is kind of cool. This entire settlement is going to be sloping. It's going to be neat. So I'm going to leave that to dry for the moment, and when that is dried, and hopefully that's going to get a good bond, loads of polystyrene cement glued to the bottom of that. I think I'm going to find maybe another way or two to glue some other parts of it as well, so it's good and solid. Last thing I want is vulnerable bits of model. So it might have some wire strops or something else that kind of hold in place. I'll then work out where the hell I'm going to put the next one. I think the next one is going to go up this end. I can't decide whether I want it lower down, which will be kind of cool. I definitely want things on different heights. I want so that might even just go on its supporting strut things over here, and then that way there. But that will be a really steep angle from up here to down there. Not that, that matters too much. And if I do that like that, that's one, that's two, and I could then have a third one maybe over here. What I don't want to do is have it overhanging the edge of the actual base of the model, because that will be a pain to store. But that might look kind of cool. Different heights there. That could either go up or go down lower. I could maybe do that. That might be quite neat. What do you think? Can you even see what I'm doing? Yeah. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, okay. What I'll do for the minute is I'm going to leave this one to dry completely. Let that glue cook and go off. See if I can find other ways of supporting it. It needs a ladder if nothing else, straight up and down. And I'm going to put the supporting, those big bits I was just looking at a moment ago, 2 of those on there. See if that helps. That'll give me an idea of height anyway. Right, so these are my current thoughts. I've now got the start of the basing bits here. I quite like the idea of cutting this off, this bit off here, and this one off here, so these could butt up to each other. I said butt. I'm liking the idea of having this platform down here. This will have a hab unit on it. I'm going to have to measure that though, real careful, to make sure it doesn't stick out over the front of the model, although I can drop it back a little. I really don't want bits sticking out over the base, because it will stop them, prevent them going into the cases, into the crates easily they're going to sit into. That'll be like that kind of thing, and that'll have a hab unit on it. This one over here, I'm thinking of not having a hab unit on it. I'm just going to have it as an open platform. Is my initial thoughts. This will have a hab unit on it, that'll do that, and then I'm thinking of this one actually being mounted on the side of the vessel, or with its pylon coming out of the water would be quite cool, so I could have that on a third level. So the 3 hab units over here will all be on different heights, different levels, and that will give me a bit of open space to get a hand in here and do stuff underneath and that kind of thing. There might be the odd space for the odd market stall or something like that. Would be kind of cool. I think that's my best bet. And then geez, my biggest problem is I was wondering whether I might make these separately and paint these separately and stick them on, but I think that's going to be too complicated. I think this model is going to have to be mostly, I don't know though, because until I start sticking them together, I don't know if it's going to work really well, but then it's going to be a right bugger to paint. So yeah, this is causing me some grief. I need the. Did that do that? Is that good? Right? I haven't stuck that on there. That thing there will sit on there right like that. That was quite cool. And that's going to stick out, although I could just chop off the odd bit. Kind of neat. I do like the idea of having that hanging over there. And I definitely want some space for figures to move around underneath it, get about. Some bits I'm gonna, yeah, and then it's gonna need a lot of weathering, a lot of bicarbonate of soda, I think, lots of super glue and bicarb to make rusty stuff all over the place. I want it to be really filthy, this model. If I make similar pylons to this so they're at the same height, they'll stick on there, alright. And that'll be kind of cool. So we have unit here, have unit here, have unit over here, and this bit open with another cabin over here. There's quite a few people, and then there's quite a lot of open stuff here. And I might put a kind of like build a jetty or something out over the side of this. That'll be quite interesting. I could cut this handrail out, build a jetty out the side. Maybe even have a market stall on that. I really like the idea of this all being one large settlement, so there's no specific place that's a marketplace per se, so much as a, you know, there is people with market stalls, wherever they are, kind of thing. I am going to cut this off. I'm going to cut this off. Do the pylons for this to stick that on. I reckon that would be quite cool. I'm just worried about these not being particularly secure. I mean, they do stick on proper hard. When the glue is completely gone off, that'll be proper hard, but they're still going to be quite vulnerable to getting knocked and banged. Saying that, the more I stick together, the better it's going to be. So I might, but this would be really easy to paint if that was all one thing. Oh, I don't know. We all know how much I love painting these things. Let's think about sticky pylons on there, see if they're going to be the same height anyway. Okay, so I've had put the structures together, the bases, and I've had a bit of a fiddle around with how I think they could fit on. I like having the idea of having this double hab unit across this way. This base and this base doesn't necessarily meet flush height wise, which is fine. I don't mind characters having to watch out or they'll trip over. Then I've got this one on its wide base, which is going to look quite cool down here. It gives a bit more texture down below, so that'll have a single hab unit on it. And then this single hab unit I'm going to actually mount up. I haven't worked out how yet, but it's going to be coming out of the water. And it's going to sit real close to this one, so but it's going to be a different height again. So I'm going to have 3 different height hab units, all of them not sticking over the edge of the boat. And I think I'm going to try and do it so the actual, although I'll stick the pile section coming out of the water on, the hab unit on its base like this, I'm going to try and make separately. I think so I can paint it separately and then stick it on, because this is going to be a really fiddly model to make other paint otherwise. So the next job then, I think, to make it all start making sense, is build the 3 hab units, 1, 2, 3, and then see what it looks like and see whether that's going to work. So this is just going to be straightforward construction for a few minutes. See how we go from there. So I can move the rest of the boat out of the way, clear down the decks, get out the main kits, and just build the hab units. Kit assembly, that's a bit I quite enjoy. In this case, I'm not kit bashing or anything else, just straightforward, putting together the 3 models as they are. Right, let's do that. You don't need to watch me do this. I'll come back to you when I put them together. Cool, huh? Ta-da! 3 hab units. Roughly put together. Main bit's done. I haven't put any details really on the top. I'm not going to do that until I've decided what I want all these different things to be and look like and that kind of thing. This is where I can start working out how they're going to fit on the model. Let's put this to one side for a minute and bring the container back over, the ship. And then this is the cool part, because so far this has just been an abstract kind of idea, and you know, it's a settlement, it's where people live. As we start to add the detail, this then is going to be where the character of the whole thing starts to take place, which is going to be the fun part. So all I'm doing is propping this up here now, not sticking anything on, remember. So that unit is going to be going on there. Makes quite a difference when you get that extra height of that hab unit there. Then I'm going to have 1 hab unit sitting on this base plate down here. That's going to go down here like that. That's kind of cool. Now we're starting to get that kind of feeling of crowding together. This one, like I said, I haven't worked out. I'm going to stick that coming out of the water. Whoops! I want to have this pile here coming up and out of the water. That would have helped if I'd stuck it together, wouldn't it? This was going to be coming out of the water. Obviously, you know, this ship has run aground or something, so this pile is sunk down and attached to the thing that's under the water there, or I'll get around the other side of the model at some point and work out how the hell I'm going to attach it to the side of the container. But this one I want to do, have over here, and it's going to sit actually real close to that, like that, I hope. Well, hey, this is just giving me an idea for the minute from a propping up point of view. I want this just to be this close to these hab units, so the roofs will all lift off, and this is why, now you can see them like this, you can see why I want to paint these things separately, because it's going to be impossible to get brushes in here to do that justice. So I think I'm going to paint these, take these 3 hab units and have to be cunning when I'm putting the rest of this thing together as to how I'm going to stick it all together. But now I've got this kind of platform on the back here, and then I've got 3 hab units all pretty close together, which is pretty neat. But I've got space down here, I've got space at the water line I can do something with as well. So yes, this is coming on quite nicely. Nothing is overhanging the edge of the base. That's super important, I've said that before, but you can now start to see where the whims is coming in. This is all going to be really, really cool. I don't know if any of these are going to be able to link to each other out of here. I might have the odd overhanging kind of balcony or what have you, going down to different ladders and things. I'm not really aiming for them to be kind of interconnected. Otherwise I would have made them all at a similar level. I quite like the idea of there just being this kind of, there might be the odd platform I might put in between, I suppose. Could work quite well. There's definitely, I'm not going to move it around, but here there's definitely room for a platform that sits on these struts here and on the edge of this over here. That could be added in later. I wonder if, I haven't got much of this ash waste floor walkways left at the minute, but that might work quite well in between. Get a kind of back alley kind of feel then. That'll be pretty wicked. That'll be quite neat. Something like that, something that thick. That could be kind of cool. You see, step out of the back of one of these houses and there it is, although I'm tempted to put a, hey! I'm tempted to put a solid wall in this one here, so this forms part of this alley, but you can't get into that one from there. And you won't be able to get into this hab unit from here, because the alleyway here will go across and onto their roof. But that's kind of neat, so I like that. This thing could do with a hatch or something. But yeah. So that's where we're at. I've got to let all these buildings go off all the glue to go proper solid. So from that point of view, I'm going to leave them overnight and come back to this tomorrow. And I could start thinking about now the detail of each one of these hab units and who lives in it, and putting more stuff in there. Of course, this one on the other model is big enough to be an inn. This is quite a big building, so that could be quite cool. But yeah, the possibility of having overhanging stuff down here or around the other side. There's loads of potential, but there's still loads of room. You can't see this. This is an ogren. There's buckets of room underneath. Multiple layers, multiple ladders. And then what this model's going to need is going to be an absolute ton of rust. I've got a plan for that though. Yeah. I mean, I've got things like this. That could make, this is a ramp from an old Robot Wars toy. But that might make quite a neat kind of quayside along one side of this. I could cut it down in half. It's got the kind of like core aluminium kind of crisscross kind of thing there. That might make quite a neat quayside. In fact, what I could do is cut out some of the this white handrail here and sit it in the side. That would be kind of cool. But lower down, I don't know. I could cut something out because then again I could fill gaps in there. Yeah. This is the cool bit now. Now I've got my main structure. Now I've got to start adding all the detail, and this is where we're going to really have some fun. But not now, because
It's 27 minutes past 1 in the morning. Woohoo! And I've got to let all the glue go off on all these hab units, so I am going to bed. Night night, sweet whimsical dreams. Okay, so decided that that's how they'll fit. Now I've got to do is work out how they're actually going to fit on the model. Well, I know how they fit on the model, but I've got to work out bollocks. Oh, fuck it. Right, I've decided that's the 3 things that are going to go on. What I need to do first of all, I think, is work out how this module is going to work. I need to stick that in place, and then I need to start digging through the cack, to find details and start working out who lives in these places, and start kind of building the character. Now I've got stuff that I know there are loads of things that I've got. Don't even need to go digging through the cack from, because I've got all the full kind of like extra sprues and kits that these things come with, which are way cool. I love the kind of like the big canopies and stuff that clip on and things, which are nice. The actual fact, the only thing I'm bothered about, disappointed about with this model, because these things, as I've said so many times before, are brilliant, is that you don't get enough of these. There are 4 openings on one of these octagonal things, and you only get 2 of these to close them off, and you've only got 2 to close off on this one, which has got 2, 4, 6, which is a bit crap. Now you can have the odd balcony and the rest of it, but there are an awful lot of kind of like open holes as well, which is a bit rubbish really. You would have thought that, you know, in the ash waste with ash storms blowing through, they would have had the opportunity to close the door a little bit more. But nevertheless, so I'm going to turn this model around first of all. First job is turn the model around and work out how the hell I'm going to stick this unit on, coming out and make it look convincing coming out of the water, because that's kind of like the plan. And then when I've done that, yeah, we're going to go for details on all these different hab units. So, spin the board. Well, let's have a butcher's hook. I mean, in general, I'm loving the basic look of this. It looks quite cool. There's a lot going on. Be really good from a gameplay point of view, which is obviously the point, you know. But I've got to work out, whoops, how this is going to work. I'm going to have a fiddle and I'll watch some telly. And when I've had a fiddle and watched some telly, Band of Brothers, for the umpteenth time tonight, I'll come back to you and let you know what I've come up with. Because that's got to sit over here like this. I mean, it could go that low. Thoughts. Okay, so cunning plan then. You might be able to see it from here. And I'll see if I can zoom in. Zzz. Right, can we see the little black circle? Yes, we can. Okay, so this little black circle here, yay, go me, is drawn around the base of this bit. Alright, let's draw that back here. There we go, look. Now this bit is going to go on the bottom. Of this bit. I'm going to stick that on proper. But, in fact, to stick all of that together. Right, and then that is going to stand in here like that. And then that is going to take this, like that, which is going to go right up against these 2 hab units. Are going to pretty much touch each other, which means characters will be able to step down from one to the other, which is kind of cool. But I'm also going to make it so I can paint these things separately. So I'm going to stick down, whoops, this bit here to the board. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to draw on here a line across the floor and up the pipe so it makes an L shape, so I can line that up and get it where I want it. I'm going to stick that down and that will go good and solid, but then I can take this off and handle this, do any details underneath, make this bit of the model, paint it separately, and then when it's time to assemble it and all that is done and that's there and that's good and solid and all the rest of it, I'm going to be able to just kind of like stick that to that, happy days. That'll be really cool. In fact, what I think I'm going to do is when I've stuck this on here, I'm going to have use some of these kind of wire strops that could attach, I don't know, I'll find a way of attaching them from the kind of like the upright pylon. I'll attach some of these wire strops to the side of the ship as well, and that will hold it in place, make it more stable, and make it a more interesting looking model. Because I'm assuming that this kind of like metal pylon is now kind of like on the sump reef that this, you know, the container ship has run aground on anywho, and that'll be kind of cool. So I'm going to stick that on there, I'm going to do that like that, I'm going to attach that to that. Oh, that's quite cool. And I'm going to have the odd metal strop there holding it in place so it all kind of like goes together. What a cunning beggar I am. Yes, I am. I like that very much. That's a great idea. Well done me. So, trim that a little bit. Find some glue, stick this on, let that go off, make sure that this is in the right place, then attach my cables, which would be cool. In fact, they'll go really nicely in there and on that like that. That will look wicked. Hold that in place. That's good. Well, a solution came out quite easy, that one. Good stuff. I like it when a solution presents itself. It's nice and easy. I've made this as wide and as flat as I can here, so there's as much opportunity to glue it on. I'm using Yoo-hoo because that'll melt the plastic glue, although I could have hot glued it, I reckon, actually. Would have probably worked, but yeah, let's see how this works. If it works, it's great. If not, I'll go back to I'll use hot glue with it. But what I'm going to do is stick that on there, leave that for a while. Now, while sticking it on, let's take this hab unit out of the way for a moment. Whoops. And stick that on the base like that. Make sure that's going to rest up nice there. Yes, it is. Pretty damn sure. Oh, it's really close, but that's not going to touch. That's not going to touch, go over the edge of the board, which is really super important for this model. So that's really cool. So that's going to go in there. That's going to sit there like that. Although I might even make it possible to, from a packing point of view, to take this unit off. Might make it better and safer and all the rest of it. Right, okay. So that's going on there like that anyway. Let's get it hold on like that. That's nice. So take that building back off. That can do that, and I can find some wire strops to stick them on, which will make that more steady and sturdy as well. I wonder how I can go over this side, whether that'll let me. That'd be pretty cool. Need some kind of bracket or something so show where it's going to attach to the ship. But that kind of works. Oh, now I've got another one of those wire things around somewhere. Here we go. Yes. Yes. Yeah, could help it. I could look at the instructions to find out what they actually attach to. Okay, now this isn't relevant really, because you know this isn't happening in this model. But I've just discovered that if you don't put a roof on one of these stack actually just perfectly because of the way these bits here lock into these bits here. Oh my God, there's so much potential with these models. Look at that, that's bloody excellent. That's just like mental. I mean, oh yeah, you could just look. I mean, it's no good because this wouldn't happen. I can't do that now because I've got, if you can see in there, I've got the bits underneath. Yeah, let's take the roof off. I've got the bits in there. Well, it doesn't make any difference. That kind of like would sit, but it's just so cool. You could, if you had unlimited amounts of money, which of course none of us have, but if you had unlimited funds, if anybody at Games Workshop is watching this, and I know I'm only a tiny little channel, but if you want to send me like 10 of these, man, I could do amazing things with it. And look, you can stack it up and make these great big stacks, and I would just be like, oh, that's so cool. Oh my God.
That's like really, really neat. I'd love to have unlimited access to these things, just play and see what you could do with them, because that's just bloody wicked. What a great piece of design. Oh man, look, double stack. That's wicked. If you got to, go and do that with them. That's flipping excellent. I'm not going to do that because that ain't going to work for this model. But oh my god, that'd be so neat. It'd be like, you can have a big stack and how cool is that? I just love fiddling around with this gear. It's awesome. Right, anyway, enough of that. Yeah, details. Yeah, sticking. Yeah. Get back to what you're doing, Tim, for God's sake. Stop getting sidetracked. Okay. More American Marines. They're not Marines, they're paratroopers. More American paratroopers. Let's do it. Quarantine. Episode 3, Band of Brothers. Right, so how far we got? Well, if you could see down here, can we see down here? Probably not. Let's take that out. Take this out. Take that out. Alright, so down here, yeah, now we can. This upright, this pylon coming out of the water is glued on. Glue's almost dry, and it's got 3 wire strops and a big metal gutter to hold it all in place. Hopefully that's going to be solid enough to hold that in place. This one now is removable from the base underneath, and I've started to put details here, the odd balcony, the odd wall filled in, and then this, I've now added the odd balcony outside here, started to work out how it goes there. And what's really cool is, as I've been building, I've been thinking really carefully about what goes on here, who lives here, what is it. I don't want it just to be another series of shops. I really liked, thanks for chipping in various people on the last video of the Sump Sea settlement, where we talked about, oh no, it wasn't, it was off the last one of these videos, the first one, where we talked about the base of the ship, which would be cool. The suggestion was it became a market barge, which is really, really neat idea. I really like that. Either a moving barge that goes around from place to place and has various traders who live on it, which I kind of like that as an idea. That would be pretty neat, and the market's on there, so it's a moving market. Or I was thinking about having it just kind of like upside down, and having the market on the bottom of it. But anyway, that gives me kind of like Necromunda kind of like market, which is kind of cool. But then I was trying to decide what I'm going to do with this. These Hab units, I think, look really quite swish. Kind of posh up market things, really. What this says to me is actually, this is where my Sump settlement hasn't really got a name. It's an extension of Piertown, where it was originally. But now it's becoming its own thing. So for the minute, I'm going to call it the Sump Town, but it'll have a better name than that, I think. But I'm quite liking the idea that this is the residence, and this is like the town hall and the residence of the mayor of Sump Town. I mean, I've got things like the water siphoning delegation for a start from Forge World. Well, they're undercoated, and they're turning up here to see the mayor of Sump Town. Could be really, really cool. I like the idea. I haven't read the rules. Thank you to everybody who pointed out Sump Sea rules to me in the Warhammer community thing today. Loads, all sorts of different people tagged me, sent me personal messages, dropped kind of like stuff on my timeline. Thank you all. I haven't read any of it, of course, but I'll get to that. But I really like the idea of people who are so far down in the sump or so far out in the ash waste, they're not any longer associated with any house in particular, which is basically an excuse for me to be able to use figures from all the different houses. And I really like the idea then that this is the home of the mayor of Sumpton, like Trumpton. I quite like that, Sumpton. And everybody comes in to see him. So this large double pad here either is his residence, although I quite like it more like his kind of like meeting chamber and throne room kind of thing. If you jump to Star Wars for a minute, if you're watching this because you're watching it for a Star Wars build, and I really hope there's some people watching this for a Star Wars build, building all this stuff is very much based on the idea of that water world in Mandalorian, where the Mandalorian goes with the little frog guy,
lady, to go and meet her froggy husband, and he gets jobbed by Quarren and Bo-Katan and her crew turn up and save him and stuff. I really like that kind of world, but I'm also really liking the idea that in that Star Wars villainy world, you get daimos and people look after it. Like Boba Fett is becomes the daimo of Mos Espa on Tatooine, and I really like the idea that this could be the command room, meeting room of the daimo of Sumpton. And these other units then become residences of his staff or whatever. This one, I quite like this being his personal quarters or her personal quarters. I have no idea who the mayor is going to be yet. I'll have to find a suitable figure to think about that. But I like this idea of being the personal quarters of the mayor, and then all I need is some kind of way from getting from here to here. And I've dropped this sunken balcony, drop balcony on there, but I don't know if there's going to be room for another. I'll have to see if that will work. If not, we'll have to come up with something else. But that's kind of cool. I like that. And then this way here, this gives this whole model an entire purpose. It's going to be really quite flash. I think I'm going to use some of the marketplace covers like I did on the last model. I have them over the top, so at least out the front of the big guy or big girl's gaff, there's cover there, maybe on the other side, and yeah, it's really, really cool. I'm really excited. A narrative has developed while I'm making the model yet again, and that's what I flipping love about this game system. And I haven't even played with any of it. I'm just making it, and the stories in the world's just build themselves. It's flipping great. Yeah, I love it. And even so, just rooting through other things and other things coming out. Other ideas have occurred to me just today for other builds for this, which is getting ridiculous. I might have gone and bought a couple more Playmobil models. Yeah, watch out, guys, because I'm not done with the Sump Sea yet. So I do need to let all the glue that I've used tonight go off. It is now 10 to 2 in the morning. Did we see that yet? Well, there's my wife, beautiful wife, in her one of the best cosplay she's ever made. One of the best cosplays I've ever seen, actually. More to the point, it's 10 to 2. 10 to 2 in the morning. I'm going to bed. This lot, hopefully the glue will all go off. I'll be able to carry on. It's so cool. Added details. And now I know that this is the mayor's place. It makes even more sense. In fact, it makes even more sense for the kind of like the holy bits down the bottom. I'm thinking of having a whole bunch of tentacles in there. That could be like, you know, the Rancor pit. I'll go to bed. I'll catch you a lot later. So, come to the end of this video, which seems like quite a good place to break. This outro is being filmed much later than when I filmed that. I've done loads more work. You'll notice that right now, I think, nothing in shot. You can't see any of the model as it now is, because actually I've got way more than beyond where this video ends. Which is great, because that means I've got tons and tons of footage already for the next video, and I'm really nearly actually completing the complete thing. That was quality English. Well done, Tim, ex-English teacher. Yes, superb. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes, I've very nearly finished the entire model. That's better. It's just here. Would you like a peep? Psych. I'm not going to show it to you yet. I hadn't realised, actually, because I was away, busy being a pirate, how much footage I'd recorded and how far I got with it. I thought all the build and just putting the hab units together and then paint it was all going to make up one thing. But actually, as you can see, we're now at nearly an hour of this video, and I've only just about finished working out where the plastic's going. That's without any of the details. And miles away from painting. So this is where I'm finishing this video. I hope you've enjoyed my ramblings as I've stuck together lots of bits of expensive plastic cack from Games Workshop. I hope you're not too drunk. There was quite a few whimsies. Don't worry though, I seem to remember there won't be as much whimsy in the next video. We're not officially said. It's quite a lot of it. But the next one is going to come on pretty soon after this, in fact, because I've got other things to do. I've got a Patreon build to get on with. Although I haven't told my Patreons that they can message me. If you're one of my patrons, now's a good time to message me with what you like for the August competition. Somebody out there in Patreon land, yes, if you're one of my patrons, now is the time to message me via the Facebook page or via Patreon and go, Tim, this is my idea for the Patreon build. If you are, if you can't remember what the rules are very simple. 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches. Piece of scenery for any game system you fancy, and if I like that idea and I think it'll make a cool set of videos, then I'll build it for you and you get it for free. If you're not one of my patrons, you can sign up to my Patreon at, here we go, patreon.com/MagatheaBuilderWorlds. Easy peasy. And then you too can enter that competition and you might win yourself a piece of terrain. Simple. In the next video then, we will be then looking at all the details. We will certainly have to go digging through the CAC, because I haven't done any of that in this video. It's been all well organised spruce, and then I'm going to have to paint the thing. And although everybody knows, who watches me regularly knows how much of a fuss I make about painting stuff, this has been a very interesting paint job because I've really had to investigate getting into rust effects and working with rust. So next time we will be looking at using 8K corrosion texture. There it is. And this witchcraft, which is called Dirty Down Rust, which is just awesome. So I'll be heavily featuring that in the next model because it's just here and it's kind of rusty. And then hopefully that'll be it. I didn't think this was going to be a three-part of this video, but it totally has become a three-parter model. So from that point of view, thank you very much for watching Magathea Builder Worlds. I hope you really enjoyed watching this video. This is part 2 of 3, so make sure you hang around and watch part 3. It's going to come hot on the heels of this one. I've got a few things to finish and bits of it, you know, they're not stuck on and they come like that kind of thing, but it won't take me very long to get number 3 of this series done and finished, so watch out, you'll be able to see the finished version of this. So if you've enjoyed watching this video, you've enjoyed sitting with me for pretty much the last hour of your life with me bubbling away in the workshop, rambling on about bits of plastic, cutting out little bits of plastic and sticking them together. If that's what floats your boat, then please do like this video. And if you haven't subscribed already, good Jesus, if you got to the end of this video, you've got to be a subscriber. But if you're not a subscriber, click subscribe. You know that makes a lot of sense. Oh, and leave comments down below. If you think I've cocked it up and haven't done it right, then please do comment down below, because, you know, I'm up for a fight. Well, not really. I like it. I like the fact that everybody who kind of watches my videos are very polite to each other. It's nice and very supportive community. But if you think I could have done something different, please tell me. If you like what I've done, please tell me. I love to chat with you guys about that and share ideas. I love taking your ideas, putting them into my models. It's kind of cool. So comment down below, like, subscribe, do the thing, join my Patreon. You know, have a happy day, go and stroke a kitten, and all that kind of stuff, and that'll be really cool. Oh, I hope you like the pup date as well. That was pretty neat. There is no super spinny video with this one to show the amazing wonderment of the whole thing, because I didn't do that when it was all grey. But I promise when we get to the end of this one, then there will be lots of kind of like detailed video, close-ups and that kind of thing. Might even get to the point where I can find some time to get several bits of Sump scenery out and put it all out together. Really looking forward to doing that, but I haven't yet made my extra spare boards yet, the extra bits of water to go in between. So have a look out. Oh, and then yeah, you might want to also keep a look out. Sneak preview. Look, I've been painting these dudes. I've been converting some iron head squads. I'll tell you about them another time too. Yeah. So, must be time for me to sign off. Where was I? Oh yeah, thank you very much for watching Magathea Builder Worlds. I will see you next time.